love if we can give a big round of applause for the APS team for this great event today. Can we have one, please, for the team? Thank you so much. Now, we're definitely going to take that soundbite and put it in front of this next slide, data privacy. Now, before you run for the doors, I'm not going to talk to you about GDPR today. You've heard enough about that. I'm actually going to tell you a little story, if you'll indulge me. My first impression with data privacy and how it slapped me in the face at 37,000 feet. So this is me, this is David. As you can see, I'm hoovering up some popcorn. We have free popcorn downstairs as well, so you'll probably see me doing that down there. And I come from a small country in Central America called Belize. It's very pretty. We have mosquitoes, monkeys, rum. It's great. But I don't live there. I live in Prague, the city of 100 spires. And as you can imagine, going home means that I will fly through the United States, Atlanta, as everybody else in the world connects there. And this is where the story really begins. So I was flying into Atlanta, landed in the airport, and I walked up to Customs Immigration. As anyone with a not so powerful passport may know, this can be a little bit intimidating. There's always a process, it takes very long, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm in the line, I'm approaching the officer, fear in the eyes, like a deer in headlights, and there's this camera. I'm walking up to him, and he said, halt. I was like, okay, halting, so this is new. And he said, look into this camera, and he takes a picture of me. And then he goes to essentially read off my CV. Is this your name? Where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. Then I hand him my passport. He looks at it, scans it, welcome to the United States. And I was a little surprised. It was really, really fast. But I didn't think much about it. Big government, very powerful, a lot of data. They know everything about you. So I went through the airport, had some overpriced wine, people watching, et cetera. And I walked up to the gate for my flight about a couple hours later. And at the gate, there's this look device. AI made this, not me. And it's like an iPad with a camera. And I thought to myself, this never works for Belizeans. We're a small country, and it just doesn't work. The gate agent says, come on down. I stand up in front of this device. It snaps a picture of my face. And the device goes green. And it says, David Diaz, boarding successful, and my passport ending numbers. And I'm shocked, pleasantly surprised, actually. And I'm like skipping down the jet gangway. And let me tell you, when you skip, you can't be angry. Like, it's just not possible to do that. And I'm in the plane. And I have some thoughts in the plane. About an hour and a half away, and I'm looking at the clouds. And it hit me. How does this airline, I'm not going to name the airline, but how does this airline have my facial biometric data? When did I agree to that? Did I even agree to that? I have no memory of this. I was completely shocked. And, I thought about it for a while. I didn't do any research on the plane because there's no Wi-Fi flying over the middle of the ocean. But when I landed in Belize like 2 or 3 days later, I started to do some research on it. Turns out, when I went to their privacy policy page, there's some rules to this program they have. 1, it's optional and you have to opt in. 2, you have to be a US citizen. And 3, you have to be eligible for TSA PreChecked. Sounds great. Surprise, surprise, I am none of these things. I'm not a US citizen. I'm not eligible for TSA PreChecked, nor did I opt into this, but it still worked. So is this privacy policy trustworthy? It's not. And I didn't know what to do. I was a little confused by that. And when I went onto the app to check this feature, it wasn't even available to me. It was completely grayed out because I'm not eligible for it as per their policy, but it still worked. So I did a little bit of digging. And as you can see here in this lovely circles, they worked with another company that compiled data from, I assume, many data brokers, as well as Customs and Border Immigration data, created profiles, and then matched them with the airline's traveler profiles. But again, I'm not eligible for that. And I did realize that I don't have any recourse here. I didn't have the ability to go to the airline and say, hey, where is this information coming from? Because they'll tell me, we don't have it, you're not eligible for this program. And I had no idea really how much data was being stored online about me from this airline, from this company, et cetera. And I thought to myself, how many selfies have I uploaded online in my 31 years of life? Many. The dog filters seem a little bit innocent now, but this information is being shared and stored about you and used in ways that you don't expect it. And this one slapped me in the face. And so, first impressions matter, because this was not my first interaction with data privacy, but my first impression of it used practically outside of my knowledge. And it was really, really quite shocking. The trust was broken. I no longer trusted this airline that I flew many, many years with. And I decided that, I don't think I'm going to use them anymore. And that's a big problem. So as our lovely host said earlier, 0.05 seconds. And people have asked me about that, and they say, is that real? That's really, really fast. That's crazy fast. But I can tell you, in 0.05 seconds, I decided I'm not flying that airline anymore because I don't know what all they know about me, and they're not being honest about it either. And it's not just me. Sorry. 50% of millennial and Gen Z consumers say that they would consider a different banner competitor if their data wasn't being used properly. Up to 46% overall consumers would say the same thing. And I know that because I'm one of them, and I actually did this. I stopped using this airline. And that's where all the companies here, B2B customers as well, say the same thing. You do business with who you like and who you trust. You're not going to go to a company and say, hey, yeah, let's work together, and then you can use all my data and take it and do whatever you want with it. You're not going to sign that contract. And it's not just about retaining these customers. These are loyal people to you. They will work with you. 67% of consumers will say they'll give you the data that you want if they know what you're going to use them for. I'm not against sending my data or sharing it with people. I like convenience. I love technology. I was a sci-fi nerd when I was a kid. Star Trek, Star Wars, The Expanse. Give me a hyperdrive and a hologram. Love it. And I'm okay with sharing it if I knew what it was going to do. If the airline had told me, hey, do you want to enter this trial program for this thing? I would probably said yes, because that sounds great. Scan my face, get on the plane, that sounds really nice. And I'm not alone. 67% of consumers say they'll do the same thing for you. And in the app world, which we're all in here, it's even higher. 81% prefer a positive privacy experience. So that's really what I'm here to talk about with you today, is a positive privacy experience, because it helps to build trust with your customers. And at the end of the day, it's not just about them keeping on your service and using your service. It's what they'll do for you. They'll become loyal customers. They may advocate for your service, and they'll purchase more from you. I think a lot of us have products from Apple, and I trust that company for many years, and now I own basically everything they make, much to the sadness of my wallet, but it's, it is what it is. And I become advocates. I use an app called Flighty, and they're very clear on what they use their data for. And I gladly subscribe to their product, and I advocate them to anyone who travels because I love the product. And this is great for companies to boost, of course, the revenue. And this is the importance of trust and a positive privacy experience. Now, this is some milestones. You guys all know this already because we definitely put the message out there. So I won't dwell too much on this. But these are just some of the roadblocks you might face with a bad positive privacy experience, right? This is the GDPR part. I'm not going to dwell on that too long. But how can we start building that trust? App users, like I said, 80% will provide more data and work with you and stay with you and become better customers if they have a positive privacy experience. So embrace your consent banner. It's not just this one thing you have to put on and then you shun it away. It's your first impression with your users. This is the first thing they see when they open your app. You can customize it, make it part of your brand, make it the first hello. So they say, okay, yeah, this isn't the thing we have to do, but at least you give it a little quirk, a little personality, and it can help. I'm part of this 40% as well. I will delete an app if it looks a little shady. I'll be like, not for me, and then it's gone. This is very important for people in this room. Imagine if you lost 50% of your customers. That's a huge number. And 80%, if you can't get their data, you're failed right out the door. And the consumers are telling us what it is. I don't know if we're all just ignoring it. Maybe we're not. Some of us are, some of us aren't. But they're telling us right away what they want. They want to give us the data. They just want us to use it in a way that they understand it and that they know that you're not just taking them for a ride. So I've talked a lot. I'm a little bit lost, to be honest, but here we are. A few things you can do today. The most important things. Audit your current data collection practices. See what it is you're actually doing, what you're doing with this data. You don't have to release it to the world immediately. Do an audit. Shift your focus to customer trust. Just make it a core part of what you're doing. The customers will give you the data most likely if they trust you. And you want your customers to trust you. That's how they purchase more from you. Invest in first-party data. We all collect third-party data. We even do it. But you want to invest in first-party because it's more valuable to you. It's better for the company, better for your revenue, better for your analytics, et cetera, and you get that through trust. And experiment, of course, with alternative targeting models. Contextual consent and advertising is really, really gaining ground, and a lot of people are experimenting in that because it's providing better results. And get your team on board. It's not just about legal. It's not just a checkbox. It can be a core part of your marketing strategy, and it helps. Okay. The future of marketing is privacy-led. So, even if you come to us, we're happy to help you. Even if you're using one of our competitors, it's still important to do that, right? And first impressions matter, as I said today. And I thank you again for listening to my little story. I may have talked a bit fast, but it is what it is. I appreciate the time. I enjoy your APS. Thank you.